Hi everyone, my name is Lou Lynn. I'm a sculptor and I live in the Slocan Valley and moving to Nelson. My practice involves exploring the sculptural properties of both glass and metal and combining them into tools and objects that reference functional things. I'm kind of interested in history. I'm interested in, what did the first tools look like? Why were there? One of my favorite things to do is to go to the Museum of Anthropology in Vancouver. And as you look at all of the tools in their collection, you start seeing the variations on these tools that are obviously the same tool, a pestle or something. And somehow it's obvious that the artist was coming through too. The function of that object that the art maker was making is apparent, but then there's all these embellishments, and you think, okay, so somebody was expressing themselves there. So that interests me. Well, sometimes it's just being inspired by a tool that I'm not familiar with, or sometimes I'll be sitting, in a group of people, and I'll be looking at the way the leg of the chair goes, and I'll think, I'm interested in that line. I don't know why, but that's the kind of thing that sort of captures my eye. I'm also quite interested in texture, as you can see from my work, and where does that come from? That comes from nature for sure. It comes from patterns in the bark of trees. It comes from patterns in the feathers of birds, things like that. My practice has always involved experimentation because to some extent I didn't quite know what I was doing. I was sort of, led into this and started doing one thing and then became interested in another process. So let's say I started working with glass, and at first I was just and I wasn't casting it, I was fusing it together, and then I started casting it, and then I began to realize the limitations of casting glass, and I started looking at casting metal. First it was cast aluminum, then it was cast bronze, and now we're at a point where I'm combining the two, bronze and glass, pretty consistently actually. Well, certainly one of the things that a gallery viewing affords is the ability to experience it in a three-dimensional aspect, because it's clearly not the same to just look at an image that's flat. So I hope that they will take the opportunity to, as I've done, looking at my colleagues' work in there too, just sort of see what it is they're telling us, because they're telling us more than just that superficial view of the piece. They're telling us something about what's behind that piece too. So, well, I hope that they experience that exhibition as something new, something that they've never seen before, because that's really how it is. I mean, you're seeing, wonderful work, and it's not often that work is exhibited together. And so it's an opportunity to, I think, expand their understanding of what craft is, because craft often is somewhat limited. It's almost like a four-letter word. People think about craft as being the mugs or the scarves, and I love all of those things, but as you can see by the work in the exhibition, we're all taking it somewhere else too.